Okay, here we are, guys. 390 players at this regional championship, and now we are down to just two. We have Jando Luna, a player from the Chicago area, coming in with a Garbodor deck against Andrew Krekeler, the son of Vince Krekeler, who actually runs this tournament from the St. Louis area, trying to defend his home turf, running a Blastoise Keldeo deck. Both these guys had tough roads to get here, and this is their last stop. One's going to go home, and one is going to be the champion with a paid trip to Nationals. So we're going to jump right into it. And it looks like we got Jando on the left and Andrew on the right. Looks like Jando might have mulliganed right off the bat and no basics. So Andrew will start off with an extra card. It's always a good advantage to have. And Jando's going to draw a fresh 7 here. Hopefully get a basic. And we will start up. And no basics again. Andrew will draw one more card for the mulligan. It's not like other card games where, you have to mulligan and then you draw one less card. You actually just draw the same number of cards every time. I know Magic, you can opt to mulligan and then you just take one less card. In Pokemon, you have to keep your hand if you have a basic Pokemon, but you have to get a new hand if you don't have a basic, and then your opponent gets to draw one extra card. He's going to draw 7 again. Andrew's going to wave to the camera. Both these guys are happy to be here. And, oh, another mulligan. Another card for Andrew. Ooh, fist pumps. He knows that's a big advantage. And, man, this is going to be a complicated match. We have Garbodor. The ability shuts off all other abilities. It's reminiscent of the old Muck from the Fossil set. That just shuts off all the powers in play. If we have any old school people around. And, of course, Andrew's going to be using, well, a card that's also like an old school card. Blastoise, which basically has the same ability as the old one did with Rain Dance. The new one is Deluge, lets you attach as many water energy as you want every turn. And Andrew's going to go first, another huge advantage. So looks like everything's going his way so far, and we are going to get started here in the finals. We have a Squirtle and a Mewtwo. Here we go. So Andrew will go first. You can see he is just gripping a ton of cards there. He's got an Ultra Ball. He's got a Tropical Beach in hand as well, looks like. So he's going to have a very, very strong and scary start. You never want to see a Blastoise deck with that many cards opening. Turn 2 Secret Sword is the best start in the game. No doubt about it. Just a Keldeo EX with 3 energy on it. There's not a whole lot you can do about it for any deck. But if there's anyone who can deal with it, it's going to be Jando with his Garbodor, Mewtwo, Landorus deck. There's a lot of stuff that can go on in this matchup. We'll see how it goes. Even though Andrew does have a bunch of cards, it doesn't necessarily mean he has good ones. But he will Skyla this turn. Looks like he did not have a Tropical Beach in his hand, so he's going to go for that beach. Jando's going to read it. I think he knows what it does already, though. He might just be looking to see what stamp's on there. Alright, that is a Worlds promo. So it's a card that's tough to get. Tropical Beach, it's a stadium, it stays out there. And you can choose to use it, you draw till you have 7 cards, and then your turn ends. Basically replaces your attack for the turn. And we'll see how Jando responds. He does have a level ball. He's going to be able to get a Trubbish Shout right away, which is good. He's going to need to get 2 of these out right away if he wants to feel comfortable. That way if one gets captured and knocked out, he can have another one ready to evolve. It's really going to revolve around him getting that Garbodor into play with a tool on it. Once he gets that and activates that Garbotoxin ability, it shuts off Andrew's Deluge on Blastoise, takes away what makes his deck so powerful, which is being able to attach so many energy every turn. If you're limited to 1 water attachment every turn, you're going to fall behind against a deck that plays Mewtwo and Double Colorless and all these tricks. So he's going to look through his deck, takes a very, very long look, grabs a Trubbish, and then plays an Ultra Ball here, discarding a plus power. And what else is he going to get rid of here? He's looking at a switch. He doesn't want to discard his Heavy Ball, because that can get him a Garbodor next turn. He also doesn't want to risk not having a fighting, so he's going to get rid of his switch. That's a painful discard Switch is without a doubt his most valuable resource in the matchup. You know, one of the ways that Garbodor can run into some trouble is if their Garbodor gets catchered up and it has a 3 retreat cost and they can't move it out of the active spot. So you need those switches. Discarding one is not a big deal, but you would like to save those if you could. So we see a second Trubbish hit the board. Very important on the first turn. He's going to be able to attach and Hammerhead this turn. He also has a Bianca for 5. So he has to draw until he has 6 cards. Looks like lots of supporters. And he's just going to Hammerhead for 30 and 30 to Mewtwo. Now this is nice. It's going to set up Mewtwo for a 2 energy X ball at some point. Or even, I mean, you could get 3 energy in play and then a plus power. That'll hit for 140 since that Mewtwo is weak to Psychic. Basically, the 30 damage just opens up a lot of options. So, very nice first turn from both of these guys. We'll see if Andrew can be the first one to really explode and get what he wants out here. He does have 8 cards in his hand. He's got an Ultra Ball. Does he have the rare candy for the Blastoise? He's retreating to his Mewtwo. He's got energy retrieval. Get back 2 waters. It's usually a sign that someone's going to get a Blastoise this turn. And he's going to discard a water and a super scoop up. Grabs Keldeo. Gets that Keldeo X out here, drops a water on it, and oh, he just plays an M, so there's no rare candy Blastoise. Not a great start, honestly. It looked like it was going to be, but it really was not a great start. No rare candy Blastoise. So unless he draws, you know, rare candy Blastoise 2 waters off of this, he's actually going to be in some trouble. We'll see what he gets, though. Alright, so Andrew's going to draw a fresh 6 here, solo Jando. And I see a rare candy, but I do not see any water Pokemon. So no turn 2 Blastoise. Jando will survive this second turn. No damage taken at all. He's going to have an opportunity to get Garbodor into play and start putting on the pressure. Now, in the top 4, Andrew did face, and he uses Tropical Beach there, Andrew did face a Garbodor deck that actually didn't have double colorless in his deck. So that might be the difference in this matchup. Jando, of course, plays, I would assume, 4 double colorless energy since you're playing Mewtwo. It's going to be a big deal. And we see a heavy ball for a Garbodor. I'm just going to take a look to see what's in his deck still. So turn 2, we got Garbodor out here. And we'll see if he has the tool to go with it. I saw he had an EV Light before. I think he has a Rescue Scarf in hand now after the end. So he's going to be able to lock down those abilities right away. And this is the last thing Andrew wants to see. Honestly, this matchup can just come down to something like this. Just one turn could be the difference. If Andrew had gotten a Blastoise out and got to deluge a bunch of energy into play, that would have been all the difference. But now, Garbotoxin is in full effect. No abilities for Andrew, no rush in with Keldeo. No deluge from Blastoise, just one attachment at a time. He does not play Tool Scrapper, so those tools are staying on Garbodor forever. And, I mean, what is he going to do? All he can do is attach 1 per turn. He's got to hope to find a chink in the armor somewhere. But until he can, I mean, Jando is in a dominant position. So where does he attach his energy this turn? Probably to the Keldeo again, but it's scary because Jando could just have a catcher and a fighting, and then lands Judgment to knock out the Keldeo EX, discarding the 2 fighting. That puts Andrew back at square one, no energy in play. Here's a super scoop up, and he actually gets the heads on it. This is going to be a big card in this matchup. Super scoop up is huge. Just kind of wiped away one attack there. I'm curious as to why he used it that turn. I don't think he can really do anything with it. You know, maybe if he had a DCE, he could X-Ball here, and that would be a huge play. But I don't see that in his hand. We do know Andrew plays one double colorless energy. So that is looming out there. But if he doesn't have it, that scoop up was kind of a waste. Well, the DCE in this case would also be good if he could Secret Sword this turn, but again, I don't think that's going to be an option. He's just going to attach to his Mewtwo, and I guess pass the turn. Oh, he's going to play a Juniper. I guess that's why he played the Super Scoop Up. So he's going to draw a fresh 7 cards there. Not sure exactly what he would go for here. I guess he could catch her out Garbodor, hope that Jando does not have a switch, and then that would buy him some time to put more energy into play. Because if he can power up all of his attackers, he does have the advantage. Keldeo is going to beat Landorus when you give him time. The problem is you just don't get time when you only get to attach 1 per turn. Landorus can actually outspeed Keldeo, as weird as that is, and beat it to the punch. Land's Judgment is a very strong attack. But Andrew actually opted not to play catcher. He had it in his hand. But I guess he just didn't want to do it that turn. There's a Charon for 3. And where is this energy going to go this turn? He really doesn't have any other Pokemon out there. You just attach the 3rd energy to Landorus, because you got to expect he's going to want to Lance Judgment at some point. If he had an Ultra Ball, he would definitely get a Mewtwo this turn. Drop an energy on that. Nope, just going to put a Fighting onto the Landorus. So we'll see if he decides to Hammerhead or Land's Judgment. Just going to Hammerhead for 30 and 30 to the other Keldeo EX up there. I like that play. It's going to set up an easier X-Ball on that Keldeo later if it comes to that. And this might come down to whether or not Andrew can get his double colorless energy. Because again, he's restricted to 1 energy attachment every turn. So yeah, if he can get DC out, he can fulfill the attack cost for Secret Sword. It would only do 140 to Landorus since there's only 1 water energy on there, but you would be able to attack. It's a 1 energy X-Ball attack. Anything that can kind of save a turn, it's going to be very worthwhile here. So we have a very slow-paced game so far. Between the Super Scoop Up and just Hammerhead for 30. That's what Garbodor can do. It just slows the game down, makes your opponent just kind of play on your own rules. They're forced to slow down to your speed because they can't use their abilities. So Andrew has a computer search. I think he's deciding what he wants to do with it. Again, there's a lot on the line in this matchup. Both of these players, since they're in the finals, will get 2 buys at the national championships. That's a big advantage for both of them to have already. But the winner gets a fully paid trip to the national championships, 100 championship points, and I'm sure a few boxes of cards as well. So there's a ton on the line here. That trip to nationals is worth a lot of money. They pay for your flight, and they pay for gas money if you decide to drive instead, and they pay for your hotel for the whole stay. I'm sure both these guys would love to have that. And that's just all riding on this one match here. These guys have been playing for 2 days, just extremely long days. We were here until 9 or 10 o'clock playing last night. And again, they had to wake up this morning, come back, and play again. And it all comes down to this last game. So, lots of pressure. Hopefully it doesn't get to you to these guys. It's hard not to when you get to this level. I mean, you just see the finish line. There's so much on the line. But if you can keep a cool head, you're going to be better off for it. There's a lot of people at this stage, they are their own worst enemy. You know, you just start getting nervous, making plays that you shouldn't. We've seen it happen plenty of times. I've seen it happen from new players. I've seen it happen even from the most experienced players. You cannot overlook how much pressure is going on in your hand. All right, looks like Hondo is going to catch, or Andrew's going to catch around Hondo's Trubbish and X-Ball for a knockout. So he will take the first prize here, as weird as that sounds. And I guess he's just going for the strategy of, I'm going to knock out all of your Garbodors, and then I'm going to get a Blastoise out and start dropping energy down. Which is a very good strategy. But he needs his Mewtwo to survive to do that, because next turn he really cannot knock out Garbodor at all. He's going to have to discard his energy for Lance Judgment, Hondo will, but Andrew doesn't really have a follow-up. I mean, what is he going to do? He could, if he gets a DC, he could Secret Sword. It's only 140 to Landorus, 70 to Garbodor. I guess he'll have a turn to buy an attachment, just because there really won't be a threat from Hondo next turn. That can knock out Keldeo. So this will be weird. See Hondo discarding a catcher, and he's really struggling on what to discard for this Ultra Ball. He has to discard 2 cards, and then he can grab a Pokemon from his deck. I would assume that would be a Mewtwo. It could be a Mewtwo or a Trubbish. But it's probably going to be Mewtwo here. Because he doesn't need to start powering up another attacker. He needs to take advantage of the fact that he's going to have the advantage just being the one ahead on energy attachments. But he's going to go for another Trubbish here. He's afraid of his lone Garbodor being knocked out. He wants that lock on the abilities to be there constantly. Cannot blame him for that. And you got to think, if he can just prevent Andrew from using Deluge at any point in this game, he's probably going to be on the winning end. We're going to see the Lance Judgment. He's going to discard 2 fighting energy. And then he'll do 150 damage to that Mewtwo, taking that out of play. Looks like he's going to take his first 2 prizes there. Now it's going to be on Andrew. What is he going to do next? Hondo did not get another energy on board that turn. That's kind of a big deal. Now Andrew's under no pressure to get knocked out this turn. He's going to computer search. See what he grabs. He could grab that DCE this turn to Secret Sword. It's not going to really do a whole lot, but I guess he could catch with the Trubbish. Take that out. Either that or hit the Landorus. I might actually prefer hitting Landorus here for 140. That way you can attach to something else next turn and still knock out the Landorus. So this is going to be rough. If Hondo could pull off, let's see, switch Mewtwo DCE plus power, that would be 110. I think that's enough. There's 60 on the Keldeo already. That would pretty much end the game. So it might have been better for Andrew there to just attach a water and then a water next turn so that he's not open up to the Mewtwo play. But it's a lot for Hondo to have. Mewtwo, switch, double colorless, plus power. So, probably not that risky. And of course, you get a big attack off here. And also, if Hondo were to play a catcher this turn, it would not slow you down. You would still be able to retreat and Secret Sword for a knockout this turn. So, there are advantages and disadvantages to playing the double colorless that turn. You would like to be able to save it just to X-Ball with your Mewtwo, but he may have discarded his other Mewtwo earlier on, so he might not even have an option to X-Ball anymore, which could also be a big factor as the game progresses. Oh, looks like Hondo's contemplating putting a fighting on his Landorus here. Now he's just going to be able to hammerhead for 30. I guess he can knock out Squirtle. I'm not sure what he has in his hand. It doesn't look like he has very much. And there is an N. Let's see. So we're going to shuffle in both players. We're going to draw for the same number of prizes they have. Hando's going to get 4. Andrew will get 5. Let's see. What is Hondo going to get off of this? He really needs to get another attacker out here. If he doesn't get another attacker out soon, he's going to be in a world of hurt. He really needs to get a Mewtwo down. The DC, what's the 4th card going to be? He needs a Mewtwo. I don't think he got it. He got a Rescue Scarf. That's not going to help him here. Might have been looking for a catcher at least, but he got a whole hand of nothing, honestly. He'll be able to take a prize on the Squirtle, but it's really all he can do here, and this might open up the door for Andrew to come back. You know, even if you get Garbodor out there, you still need a Pokemon that can attack. Otherwise, you just kind of sit there and they still knock you out. So I'm sure we'll see a Hammerhead this turn. I guess he could retreat, but that would be a waste, I would think. Might as well take your prize this turn. Gonna throw a Rescue Scarf onto the Trubbish. And let's see where he decides to attack. Yep, alright, he's gonna go for Hammerhead, knocking out that Squirtle, going on to 3 prizes. That prize is probably not too relevant. He still needs to knock out that Keldeo EX at some point, and then he'll still have to knock out 1 more Pokemon after that. Andrew, what are you going to do here? You could keep attaching water to your Keldeo, but in a perfect world, you would attach somewhere else this turn. You would need to get down another Pokemon and be able to power up your next Keldeo, honestly. If you could get a Mewtwo down and power that up, that would be even better. But otherwise, you've got to get a Keldeo down this turn. It's that or attach to Squirtle, and that's probably not what you want to be doing right now. So there's 90 damage on that Keldeo EX. It's in range for Mewtwo to come out with an X-Ball and knock it out. But we have an N. It's going to put Hondo at 3 cards, so it's going to make it tough for him to respond. It's going to give Andrew 5 cards. He's going to be hoping to get a Keldeo and a water, at the very least. He's going to take a look at what Hondo's gone through so far. Now, Hondo can respond with a Mewtwo DC switch this turn. He's going to be in great shape. But he draws DCE, Fighting, Super Rod. I guess the Fighting at least gives him an opportunity to use Trubbish's attack to put a supporter on top of his deck. But he's still going to have to draw pretty well as the game progresses. And there we go. We see a Secret Sword that's going to knock out Landorus. We're going to tie the game up at 3 prizes apiece. I didn't see what Hondo top deck. There might have been an N. Just going to count how many energy he's gone through so far. Very close matchup here in the first game. Oh, it's a Juniper, actually. So he's got a huge opportunity. He's going to shuffle in 2 Fighting and maybe a 3rd Fighting. I don't really think you need a Landorus at this point. I guess he's just going to put 3 energy back in his deck. Nothing else in that discard pile is really going to help you. So yep, 3 Fighting, go back in. 3 more energy he can use as the game goes on. Alright, let's see what happens. This Juniper is going to decide a lot. I believe I've only seen Hondo play 1 double colorless so far. He's going to have to dump 1 with the Juniper. So there should be 2 left. He's going to need a switch and a Mewtwo to pull this off. And he's going for it. Juniper for 7. Does he get it? There's the Mewtwo. No, did not get it. But he can at least put down the Mewtwo here and then use Garbage Collection. Put a double colorless back on top of his deck to make sure he gets one for next turn. And that's still going to be an extremely strong play. Instead, he's just going to put a fighting on the Mewtwo. That also works. Now the problem was for Andrew that he just did not get another Pokemon in play to attach to it. So even though he survived this turn, it's still not a good position for him. There's too much damage on his Keldeo. I guess he could get a Super Scoop Up Heads and pick that up and replay it, but that won't even do too much right now. So we're going to see Jando Tropical Beach this turn. That's also a very good play. He's going to be able to draw until he has 7 to make sure he's going to get himself an energy next turn. He didn't get a Computer Search, so he's got that option. So we have an Ultra Ball, discarding Rare Candy and Blastoise. Realizes that I'm not going to be able to use these this game. And oh, there's a Mewtwo. Alright. I'm pretty sure Andrew only plays one double colorless, so that one is the only one he has. And if he had 2, this would be an entirely different game, but that's all he's got. He's going to look through his discard pile, see what else is in there. I'm not sure what he's going to do here. He might just be 1 energy attachment short of winning this game. Going to put down the Mewtwo and attach to it, and I think his best bet might actually be to pass the turn, or I really don't know, just force Jando to have a switch this turn. You know, he's just 1 energy attachment short of being able to do what he wants. What can happen next turn is just Mewtwo comes up, X-Balls for 100, knocks out your Keldeo, and then there's only 2 energy on your Mewtwo, 2 energy on his Mewtwo. That's not enough to knock him out with X-Ball, and then all you have to do is attach an energy and you lose. But if you have an N, I guess you can add him to 1 and just hope he doesn't have the energy next turn to beat you. This can get very complicated. It's going to come down to a lot of luck of the draw at this point. He's going to put the water, and he does have an N. Oh, he's actually going to go for the Mewtwo. That's something I didn't really think about. It's a very good play, though. He's going to hit the Mewtwo first. He's going to force Jando to have 2 attackers now. He's going to need to have the first Mewtwo and then a second one as well. So very well played by Andrew. He's going to play an N. Both these guys are going to get 3 cards. See what Jando gets. He gets another Juniper. That's going to be big. He also has a plus power in hand. It's going to be painful to have the Juniper that away. He would like to have that for the Mewtwo to follow up. See, and then we have a Secret Sword. It's only going to do 50, but that is just fine. That's going to do just enough to set up for the X-Ball next turn. Now Jando, in a perfect world, he would get he would Juniper and get a Mewtwo down with an EXP share this turn if he has that in his deck. I'm not too sure if he plays it. He's trying to make a choice. You know, he's got a plus power in hand and he's got a Juniper. So if he draws double colorless catcher, he can bring out Andrew's Mewtwo and knock it out with X-Ball, and the game is over. He'll just be able to attack X-Ball one more time and it'll be just completely over. Or he could take the safe bet, attach the fighting to his Mewtwo, and just take the knockout. But he's going for it. He's going for the Juniper. He needs a DCE and a catcher here. Does he draw it? He needs at least an energy. And oh no, did he miss the energy? He took the risk and it didn't pay off. And now Andrew's going to be the one at the advantage here. But it's not as bad as it seems. Mewtwo will not actually be able to be knocked out this turn. With the Eviolite and X-Ball, let's see, it would only do 100 damage, so he's still an energy short of knocking out Jando's Mewtwo, so he can actually afford to lose this turn. It's not going to be the end of the world. Let's see, he's going to play a switch, it looks like, though. don't know if I like this play. I think you can just afford to have Mewtwo take a hit there. He's not going to get knocked out. But it looks like he's just sacrificing his Trubbish. No energy attachment is very painful to see. Big missed opportunity there from Jando. You got to feel for him. He just did not draw the catcher there. The DC, or even an energy, he would have been happy with, I'm sure. He doesn't even have another Mewtwo. That would have been good. Just missing everything that turn. And he's going to Tropical Beach for one, and the next card was the double colorless. That's so painful to see. Now, if you're Andrew, how do you react to this situation? Now, you would like to put the energy on your Mewtwo this turn and just take the Secret Sword knockout, but if you do that, then all Jando needs is a DCE catcher, and your Mewtwo is gone, and then you lose the game. So it's still all coming down to whether or not this Mewtwo will be able to take out Jando. That's all it is. I've seen plenty of games just boil down to Mewtwo Wars, but this is seriously all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Whoever's Mewtwo comes out on top will win the game. And the Rescue Scarf should activate there, so the Trubbish does go back to your hand. That's actually not optional, like many other cards are. You are forced to take that back. Alright, so I think Jando has a Chariot in hand. It's going to be a big 3 cards. He's got the DCE on his Mewtwo. It's going to be a huge draw here. He's also got a Skyla, but he does not have the necessary cards. He's going to add, actually. Oh, this is going to be huge. So he's going to put Andrew down to 2 cards. And it's basically saying, all right, man, if you draw an energy, you win. If you don't, I win. That's all it is. Putting the game down to N. Can't have to find the format any better than this. Mewtwo and N. These are just the 2 cards that always seem to come out at the end of games. And I've seen these 2 things decide games more than anything else. So there's a catcher. Does he draw a plus power? No. If he would have drawn a plus power, he would have gotten it too. Oh man. Everything's just been so close for Jando, but he's been just short. And Andrew's got a Juniper. So if he just draws 1 more energy, the game is over. He's going to take the first game. And let's see, we got a Juniper. Does he draw water? Yeah, he got one. And that's going to be it. That's the first game. Andrew's going to take a very close first game. That'll be a little devastating for Jando to lose that one. He missed a lot of opportunities. Just so many Junipers and just didn't draw what he needed. But that's only 1 game. It's a best 2 out of 3 series. We got 75 minutes. There's plenty more Pokemon here to go. If I were Jando, I would be upset, but you realize that you were that close to winning that game, so I would not be worried at all. Just forget about it. You know, he's bounced back before. We saw it in the top 8. He lost the first game, and he bounced back. He won 2 straight, and the same thing could happen here. Andrew was very smart about that. He played that very, very well. You got to hand it to him. Super scoop up. That 1 flip went his way. That was pretty important. Otherwise, it was a pretty straightforward game. Just Jando, it's going to be on him to draw the cards he needs to win this matchup. That's how it goes. So these guys are going to shuffle up. And then we will start game number 2. So Jando will get to choose to go first since he lost game number 1. It's a complete advantage to go first, so you're always going to choose to go first. You get to play everything. You get to draw your card. I mean, he's going to be at the advantage at the start, but we'll see. A lot of things can happen. So these guys are going to shuffle up, make sure their decks are fully randomized before the start of the next game. Alright, so both these guys are going to shuffle up. Not much else we can say in the downtime here, but if you're Andrew, you got to be excited. Just one game and you are crowned the regional champion here. 390 other players, and you are the one who comes out on top. It's a good feeling to have. But you do still have to win that game. It's not over yet. And if you're Jando, you got to be feeling bad about the first game, but you can't let it get to you. You have won so many matches up to this point, and that is a really bad hand. He does not have a supporter. He's starting with a lone Trubbish. He's got to hope that either Andrew mulligans here or he draws a supporter this turn, because this is not good at all. And we could see an early exit here from Jando in the finals. Starts with the Trubbish, and top decks. Does he get a supporter? I don't think he got one. Not looking like he got anything. Draws a Super Rod, probably the most worthless card in his deck. Puts down a fighting, and he's going to pass. And if Andrew can get his double colors this turn, he can actually win. Otherwise, he's just going to attach and pass. And he's going to give Jando one turn to draw a Pokemon. Oh, he draws a Cheren. Does he draw a Pokemon? He gets another Trubbish. All right, he's going to stay alive at the very least. Woof. Dodges a bullet there. Wow. What more can you say than wow? That was just it right there. But what is he going to do? He can garbage collection, I suppose. Throw an EXP share on the bench Trubbish. Maybe a fight. And then put the Cheren back on top of his deck. Does he even want to? If he has a Juniper, I probably wouldn't do that. You should definitely attach to the bench guy. Probably put the EXP share down as well, just so you have an energy switch option. He's going to catch up Squirtle. All right, that's going to buy himself a turn as well. At least it should. Andrew can only attach once, and his hand is equally bad. It just he started with a Mewtwo, and Jando started with a Trubbish. So he does his garbage collection for the Cheren, goes back on top of his deck, so he will have a supporter for sure next turn. We're going to see an attachment onto Squirtle, and I guess Andrew's just going to pass this turn. He has an Ultra Ball, discarding a Mewtwo and a Keldeo. Not sure what he's going to take with that. I guess he's just going to thin out his deck by a card, so he doesn't draw another Pokemon.
EGC Masters, round 7 pairings are now posted.
If I'm not mistaken, it looks like Andrew actually plays 3 Mewtwo's in his deck, which is unusual for a Blastoise. He's got one on the bench, one in the discard, and it looks like there's another one in his deck, so he might actually play 3 Mewtwo's. Interesting to see. What Pokemon is he going to take here? He might just grab a Blastoise, could just grab another Squirtle. I don't really know, I don't really think it matters that much, but he's just going to look and see what's prized. He's got to be feeling a little bad seeing that he had an opportunity to win the whole tournament turn 2 and Jando drew out of it. I think if you're Andrew here, you just pass the turn with your Squirtle active. And now it's up to Jando. We know what he's going to draw as a Cheren, and he'll be able to draw 3. And all right, so there's a plus power, an Eviolite, and another Trubbish. Drawing nothing but, well, actually garbage. So he doesn't even have a Garbodor. I don't think he even has an Ultra Ball or anything like that. And throw an EXP share on a Trubbish. This is a brutal start from both of these guys. And Jando's just deciding which one of these do I even want to take back. I guess the Cheren. He's not even going to put the EXP share down. I probably would if I were him. Just might as well do it to get an extra energy in play so that you can energy switch later. Since you're for sure getting knocked out. And yep, he's going to decide to do that. And then puts the Cheren back on top of his deck. Who knew garbage collection was so good? So Andrew's just going to go right into it, retreat, and X-Ball. And we're going to see the energy go right on to the Trubbish. Now if he draws a Mewtwo off of this Charen, he can just DCE plus power, X-Ball for the knockout. He's got like 10 cards in his hand. He's just missing a way to get a Mewtwo. So here we go. Does he draw it here? 1, 2, and oh my goodness, still nothing from Jando. This has just been terrible, terrible game for him where he just cannot draw anything. He could try to buy some time with the catcher again, but I think Andrew has another water in his hand. But you might as well. Man, what do you even do here? Andrew's taking the first prize. You know, it's got to be super nerve-wracking for Andrew. He just does not have anything, but all he's got is a Mewtwo X-Balling, and it's been enough so far. He's skating on thin ice. All it takes from Jando is that Mewtwo, double colorless plus power, and Andrew's Mewtwo is gone. Jando's going to put the Charen on top. He has an N in his hand. It'll be interesting next turn to see what he decides to do. And if he decided to catch her, I don't think Andrew had an energy, so he might have been able to buy a turn, and there's an X-Ball. So it might honestly come down to this. Jando's going to promote his Trubbish. Is he going to go for the N or the Charen? We're debating whether or not he wants to put an energy on the Trubbish, decides to with the XP share. All right, and is he going to Charen for 3 and go for it, or N for 6? Then he would need to redraw the double colorless and the plus power. So here we go, here's a Charen. This is huge. Computer search, all right, he got it. So he will be able to grab the Mewtwo this turn, you know. Only took him about 4 Charens to do it, but he got it finally. All right, so here's the computer search. And Andrew's probably like, all right, I guess it was just a matter of time. Just gonna discard Eviolite. And let's see. He's just setting aside cards that he knows he wants. And he's gonna get rid of N as well. This is gonna be a huge turn for Jando. Obviously, he's just going to take a Mewtwo here. And he does not have to show his opponent what he gets, so he can kind of hide which card he was missing the whole time. It's fairly obvious that it was the Mewtwo. Sorry, this is going to be a huge swing in the game. Andrew, as we've seen the whole time, has not had anything in his hand. He's just been X-balling with that one Mewtwo and just praying it doesn't go down. And it's finally going to go down. So we see Jando grab the Mewtwo. That DC is going to come down with a plus power. You can X-ball for 180 thanks to the weakness. Mewtwo, of course, the best counter to it is itself. There's a plus power. Mewtwo. Double colorless, and he can retreat the Trubbish. And this is going to put a lot of pressure on Andrew now. And we do see a Super Rod as well. Shuffle in 2 more Trubbishes and a fighting. He really wants to get Garbodor out just in case. He doesn't want any nonsense going on with Blastoise. He doesn't want to give Andrew the opportunity to deluge if he doesn't have to. So Andrew certainly could come back. You know, all it takes is top taking a supporter, get a rare candy and a Blastoise out there, and then all of a sudden, who knows, he could have another Mewtwo out there with 3 energy on it. There's an X-Ball. We're going to tie the game up, 4 prizes apiece. And what will Andrew do this turn? Looks like he has a rare candy and a Blastoise, but does he even want to put that out there? It's kind of dead weight if Garbodor comes on. And if you can't attach any extra energy, well, looks like he's just going to pass. So this is a huge opportunity for Jando. Does he have a way to get Garbodor in play? Even if he doesn't, he can simply attach and just X-ball the Squirtle this turn. Very low risk that he gets knocked out by Andrew's next Mewtwo, I guess. And it would take a ridiculous amount of cards to pull that off. And we've just seen that he's passed the whole time. So he really doesn't have anything in his hand to work with either. And we're just going to see an X-ball, I think. There we go. Squirtle goes down. Hondo goes down to 3 prizes. And we're seeing quite an ugly game here. It's very nerve-wracking for Hondo at the beginning stages, but now it seems like he has established his board position. Andrew just is the one with no supporters. He's going to rush in with Keldeo. He's got an Ultra Ball. There's the rare candy on Blastoise. But he's got nothing else, and he's going to have to pass. He's actually going to Ultra Ball, just grab another Pokemon. What is he going to grab with this? I guess he's just going to thin out his deck. Yep, there's a third Mewtwo. So he does play 3. Just going to take it. And that's going to be his turn. He cannot do anything else. Hondo, he's got a handful of stuff, but he's got a Juniper, and he doesn't really have any extra Pokemon to put down. He's going to put down Terrakion, so he can at least get that out there. Really, he just doesn't have a way to get Garbodor. If he could, this would probably be game over. But I don't think he wants to Juniper away all 12 of those cards. He's debating on putting that DCE somewhere. He might just put it on the Mewtwo to hit for a huge X-Ball. It'll be 120 damage. It's actually going to put it on the Terrakion, so he must not have a fighting energy in hand. He's going for a plus power, so he might be going for the Juniper this turn, thinking that, okay, if I get Garbodor out, I pretty much win the game. As long as I can draw into a switch at some point. But he's actually just going to X-Ball for 80. It's going to be a big turn if Andrew can top deck his supporter. Oh, we got an N. So this could be a big swing of things here. He's only going to get 4 cards, though, so it's not huge. Hondo's going to get 3. Honestly, what would he need? Well, I guess an energy retrieval and a water. If he could get those off of this N, he could return the X-Ball knockout, and that would be a gigantic turn. So if you're Hondo, you got to be a little nervous here, hoping that Andrew does not get this. It's possible. Rounds this 4. There's a water. Oh, we got the 3 waters and a super scoop up. This is a big flip, and nope, that one's tails. But he does have enough water energy to place his hand on an X-Ball this turn. That was such a huge top deck that's going to change everything this game. Play his hand down to 0, X-Ball. Andrew will go down to 2 prizes. Oh man, it's got to be a bad feeling in the pit of your stomach if you're a Hondo here. But you got to realize you're still in this. This game is far from over. He's going to Eviolite his Terrakion. He can energy switch off of the Sucevich here. And then he can Juniper for the turn. He can still get a Mewtwo off of his Juniper. He's going to hope for a catcher at the very least. There's a Mewtwo, there's a DCE. Does he draw anything else? No. Again, he's just 1 card short of pulling off a huge play. Just cannot seem to get it. And he didn't even get a Garbodor again. Just barely falling short this game. It's very, very just frustrating to see. And if you're Hondo, it's got to be even more frustrating to know you're this close. You're in the finals, and just nothing is going to go your way right now. So he's going to just pay 1 to retreat. You don't want to bench your Mewtwo too soon. See what Andrew draws. He really was at 0, and oh, he top deck a Juniper. I think he did. Andrew just top decking everything at the right time. And if he can get enough energy into play, he might seal this game up. Does he get the energy? He's got some retrievals. At least 1. If he can get 5 energy into play, he can Secret Sword for a knockout. Let's see, there's 5 between. If he can get 2 more on the Mewtwo, that's also a knockout. Go down to 1 prize then, and then you got to think it's just a catcher and the game's over. Now there is 90 on the Mewtwo, 80 on the bench Keldeo. So it's still not over by any means. He's going to have to commit energy somewhere to get an attack off his turn. Just the question is where. guess he could catch her up the Sucevich, take an easy Expo knockout, and then power up his Keldeo, depending on how many energies there. Man, this is just so close. And I know there is an N in Hondo's hand, so he is going to get an N to 1 off this turn, and it's just going to come down to a top deck. That's really all this is going to come down to at this point. Let's see. So we're going to see Ultra Ball from Andrew, I think. It's just heartbreaking that Hondo wasn't even able to get a Garbodor out. Like that alone would be a difference maker at this point in the game. So what is Andrew going to do here? So much pressure here, so much riding on this game. He just wants to make sure he makes the correct play. He's going to Ultra Ball away a Skyla and an N. Grab something to thin out his deck and play it down. Nope, we can't play down a Blastoise though, so I guess that's the only Pokemon he can really take. There's a normal Keldeo on the bench, Keldeo EX with a bunch of damage, and then a Blastoise in play. So let's see. So there's a retrieval. He's going to get 2 water back. Which route is he going to go? Is he going to power up his Mewtwo, or is he going to catch with the Sucevich and power up his Keldeo? He can get 3 waters somewhere this turn. Where is it going to be? Either way does not ensure him a win. There's a lot riding on it. He's going to catch her out the Sucevich though. He's going to take the other route. He's going to power up his Keldeo, put 3 on it. And down goes the Sucevich. He's down to 1 prize. It's all going to come down to this next turn here. Hondo cannot win this turn, but he can knock out an EX no matter what. He has an N in his hand, I know that. So he's going to N Andrew to 1, and it's just going to come down to that 1 card. I think if he has a catcher here, he should go for the Keldeo and then play the N. That way, an energy retrieval doesn't mean a loss. His Mewtwo with 4 energy. It'll be 7 total. It'll be 10 short because of the EV Light. So you want to make it as difficult as possible for your opponent to take that last prize. He's debating whether or not he wants to put his Mewtwo down. There's probably no harm in that. He definitely needs to end this turn though. If he doesn't, I'm pretty sure he'll lose this game. I guess Hondo's just doing some math. He's trying to figure out what is his best option. Oh, he's actually putting another fighting on the Terrakion. This definitely means he's going to go for the Mewtwo here. And here we go, N to 1. This is what the format comes down to a lot. He's going to knock out this Mewtwo, and it's going to come down to, does Andrew draw an energy retrieval or 2 waters? That's what he needs. That's all that's standing between him and the regional championship. If he misses it, Hondo should be able to take the win next turn. This is as close as it gets. And this is just what so many games have come down to. Do you draw the card you need off of your N to 1? It does not get any more nerve-wracking than this. And let's see. 3 cards for Hondo. He gets a Skyla. So if Andrew cannot win next turn, the game is over. He's going to be able to Skyla for the catcher. And oh, a silent. Oh no, and that is going to be it. That is the tournament. Andrew Krekeler is your Mississippi Valley Regional Champion. Wow, what a finish. It's not a card you expect to see to be the game ender, but silent is it. He gets to search for 3 water energy, and Andrew Krekeler with the Blastoise Keldeo will take down this tournament. tournament. Congratulations to him. What an exciting finals match. You gotta feel bad for Jando there. I mean, he played his heart out. He just missed one too many times. And Andrew ended up taking that one. So thank you guys for watching. That's going to wrap up our coverage here from St. Charles, Missouri. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the match. Congratulations again to Andrew and Jando for doing so well in such a large tournament. There's really nothing else we could say. And I mean, again, thanks for supporting us and watching this. We're just trying to stream Pokemon to provide people with competitive matches so that the community can grow, the game can grow, and that we can see Pokemon thrive and become a bigger and better game. And every time you guys tune in, you help us out. So, have a good weekend, everybody. I'm Pooka from the Top Cut. We'll be trying to provide more coverage for you here in the coming weeks as the season goes on. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.